Hey everyone, I am Nitij and welcome to another exciting tutorial where we are diving into the world of advanced search functionalities using Algolia and React supported with a Firebase backend. So in this video, we will learn how to integrate Algolia's powerful full-text search capabilities into a React application supported by a Firebase backend database. We will build a responsive search interface enhancing user experience with real-time search results. So first, let's discuss in short the basics of Algolia, and then we will start with setting up our account if you don't already have one. So Algolia is a powerful, flexible search and discovery platform known for its speed and relevance. Some of its key features are full text search, typo tolerance, custom ranking, geo search, instant search, faceted search, API first approach, scalability, analytics, custom UI components, and so on and so forth. So Algolia provides you a whole range of products to support you in your full text search capabilities. Now let's see how you can set up your first Algolia account if you don't already have one. So to set up your Algolia account, just click on login on top from over here. Now you can either use your Google account to log in, or you can create a new one by entering your email and password. I will just log in using my Google account. So at a minimum, what you need to do is first you need to set the application name, then you need to set the search index name, then you will need to create an API key for your instant search. When you will create an account for the first time, then it will automatically prompt you to enter your application name, and when you will do that, then you will be provided with an Algolia app ID, which is this one, PKK7X for this application. When you will click on this application, then it will open up. To either add a new index or to see the existing ones, you will have to click on the search from the left side. Let me just zoom in. When you will do that, then under index, you will see your current indexes and the records which have been indexed. So now to create a new index, just click on new and then click on index, enter the index name, and you are set. I already have an index with the name search_articles, which I will be using for this tutorial. Next is the API keys. To view or generate new API keys, first go to the home and then click on API keys over here. For this tutorial, we are going to need the search only API key and also the admin API key. The admin API key will be used by our Firebase backend functions to either index new content or to delete the already indexed content. The search only API key will be used by our React frontend. Now never expose your admin API key because it can be used to access all of the functionalities. Search only API key can be exposed and you will have to use it in your front end. And that is pretty much everything you need to do to set up your Algolia account. There are some other features as well which you can explore, but as far as the scope of this video is concerned, these are the only things or items that you will need to create a working project. Now let's also talk about what you need to do on the Firebase side to get things rolling. The first thing you need to do to your Firebase project is to create a new Firestore database. For this project, I will be using the collection articles. Now I'm not doing all the Firebase and React integrations from scratch. I will be taking the base project from another tutorial video whose link I will share in the description of this video. Now let's get started with our code walkthrough. So this is Visual Studio Code and this is the base project that we will be using to integrate Algolia's instant search with our React frontend. The first thing that I will do is to install the Algolia package because we will be using the Algolia's React components. So npm and then install and then Algolia search, press enter. So you must be thinking, how can we use the Firebase's Firestore database with Algolia's full text search? So here is what we will be doing. Whenever a new document will be added to our Firestore, then we will immediately index that document's properties with Algolia. Similarly, when the document is updated, then we will index the document again. If the document is removed, then we will remove the indexing from Algolia, and that is pretty much what we will be doing from the Firebase function backend. Now I will be emulating the Firebase functions locally, and to be able to use the Firestore trigger events with Firebase functions, I will have to emulate the Firestore as well. Now to do that, the first thing I will do is to simply run Firebase init. If you want to learn more about how to work with a Firebase project in React Frontend, you can see my previous videos on how to set up the Firebase authentication and Firebase functions with a React Frontend. Now it says, are you ready to proceed? Press Y, and then we need to set up Firestore. So I will select it and press enter. Now I am going to select all the default values. After Firebase is initialized, let's go to the src folder and then Firebase folder, open up firebase.js, and from over here we need to connect the Firebase emulator as well, like we are doing for Firebase functions. To do that, first we have to import its dependencies, which are get Firestore and connect Firestore emulator. Let's fetch a reference to the Firestore database. Now we simply need to call connect Firestore emulator by providing the database, the host name and the port number as the argument. Now we can test if with our emulator the Firestore emulator is also running or not. So npm run Firebase emulate. This is going to emulate both functions and Firestore. So now we can see that both the Firebase functions and Firestore are currently emulating, and I am just going to open up this URL for Firestore because we will be adding records locally to be able to test the Firebase functions. After this step, it is time to create Firebase functions to be able to listen to the changes in the Firestore database and then index the new documents with Algolia. Now to do that, I will go to the functions folder and then the callable functions folder. Let's create a new folder and I'm going to call it as article indexing. In this folder, I will create 3 files: create, delete and update. So new file, create.js, and then now the create.js is to listen to the document create event in the articles collection of our Firestore database. Whenever a new article ID will be added, then our function code should kick in. So let's do that. The first thing that we will do for this function is to import all the dependencies. So functions, admin and Algolia search. We are going to use the admin package to initialize a new application if there is none. Next, we will need 3 values. The first one is the Algolia app ID, second one is the admin key, and third one is the index name. So app ID and index name are there to identify in which application and index we need to make the updates, and admin key is to allow us to be able to make those changes. So this is the app ID, this is the admin key, and this is the index name. You can fetch all 3 of these values from your Algolia dashboard. So this is your app ID, this is your index name, and to see the keys you can simply go to home, then API keys, and here is your admin API key. You can simply copy it from over here. There's also search only API key which we will use in our React frontend. Alright, now we need to create the Algolia search client, and for that we simply need to call Algolia search by providing the app ID and admin key as the arguments, and we also need to initialize the Algolia index by simply calling the Algolia client.init index and providing the index name as an argument. So I'm just going to add the function which will get automatically invoked whenever a new article is added. So this is the name of the function, index article, and what will happen is whenever a new document is created under this collection with a new ID, then because we are listening to the on create event, we will get the snapshot and the context. From snapshot we can extract the newly created articles properties. So we will only be using the title and the body. Now we need to create a new object that we need to provide to the indexes save object function. So this object needs to have an object ID and the properties that we need to index. So for object ID we can use the article ID, which we can later use to identify our article when we need to remove from indexing, and then we simply need to call index.saveObject. If there is any error, then we can throw the error, otherwise we can choose to do nothing, because when it will be successful, then the article is going to be indexed. Now the logic with update is similar, we just need to change the event name to which we need to subscribe. The logic with delete is somewhat different, so let me first show you what the update article index Firebase function looks like. So let's open update.js. Everything is similar apart from the fact that we are simply using on update event. Rest of the content is similar. So in a real world application, you can use environment variables to save these values or to store these values, and you can refactor all the common stuff in some kind of services. Third one is the delete function to listen to the on delete event, and for that we just need to call the Algolia indexes delete object function by providing simply our article ID or the object ID which we previously passed when creating the index. Now when we have created these three functions, then we need to expose them from our Firebase functions index.js file as well. So let's do that. So first we are importing the functions and then we are exporting them by attaching them to the exports object. Now when we were making these changes, then the Firebase emulation code should update itself. Now it says that these three functions have been initialized: index article, remove article from index, and update article index. Now let's try to add some articles to our locally emulated Firestore database and see if our function code is kicking in to index the newly added articles. So these are the three articles that I will be adding one by one. So when I have added the article, then the function should kick in. So it says beginning execution of index article, and it has finished. So our article should be indexed correctly. Now you can also check out your indexed information or indexed data in the Algolia dashboard as well. So you just need to open up the search and then go to index, select the index which you want to check out. Now here is the article which has been indexed. Let me add a couple of more articles to test our code. I have added 2 more articles which have now been indexed over here. Now when our indexing code is working fine, we can now move on to our React frontend to display a search interface where user will be able to search these articles based on the full text search capabilities of Algolia. To do that, I will simply open up the our React's src folder. Now go to components and then go to the home folder, and I will be making changes to this home component. So first let's start this application as well. So I'm just going to write npm and then start to start our React frontend application locally. Now Algolia provides us a bunch of React components which we can directly add and configure to use on our React frontend. The ones that I will be using are going to be instant search and search box and hits and highlight. So first let's import their dependencies. Now there is one more package that we need to import to be able to use the Algolia's React component, and that is npm and then install and then React instant search. Press enter. Now to use these packages, first we have to import them. So I'm just going to import the Algolia search and the instant search, search box, hits and highlight, and I will show you one by one what they are for. First, let's just add the state variable for our search client. So we will be initializing our search client in a use effect hook when the component loads for the first time. We simply need to call Algolia search by providing the app name and the Algolia search key as arguments. The next thing that I will do is to first style this parent div, and then if the search client is available, then we will start to render the Algolia components. So if search client is available, then only we can render the search interface under a div with these classes which are going to make this div centralized. Now first I will need to add the instant search, and under instant search I will add the search box. I'm also going to add the hits. So with instant search we need to provide the values for the search client and the index name. So search client is the one which we initialized, and the index name is the search articles. For our search box, I'm going to provide the props for placeholder value and the search as you type. And for the hit component, we need to create a hit callback. So hits are going to be individual records which the Algolia search interface is going to display. So first I'm going to create a hit callback. So to do that, we can simply create a function which is going to accept the hit value. So now each hit is going to represent our article, so we need to return the HTML that is going to represent the article. So for that, I'm simply going to return a div with an h2 which is going to contain the title, and then with a p or the paragraph element which is going to contain the body. Now to render the body, we just need to access or reference hit.body. So body is the property of our article, and we can also reference hit.title over here. But instead of directly referencing hit.title, I am going to use the highlight element. So highlight is simply used to highlight the text that we are searching. I'm only using it for the title, but you can extend it to use for the body as well. So we need to provide the attribute prop and the hit prop. So the value of attribute is going to be the object property name, and the hit is the hit which is incoming as an argument. Now let's also add some styling information for these HTML. So this one is for the div, and for paragraph also we can add some stuff. Now to add the class name for the highlight, we need to create a custom class. So I'm just going to create one with the name highlighted classes, and we need to provide the class values for the root property. Now similarly add classes for the search box and for the hits component as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create two more search classes for the search and for the hits. Now to add the classes, we just need to set the value for the class names attribute. So this is for the search box. For the hits, let's first add the prop value for our hit callback, which should be this one, hit component equals to hit. Let us also add the class name for the hits. And this is all that we need to do to create our very basic search interface for the articles that we have indexed. Let's add the highlighted class names as well, for which we have created this object. So I'm going to add it over here. So when we are running the React application, then we are not seeing any results. So let's check out what's wrong. I think the problem should be with the hits, because we are seeing the search input. So with hits, okay, I think we need to return this div from over here. So return, and let's also enclose this in curly brackets. Let's save it. So now we can see the results for the articles which we have indexed. Now let's try to search for anything, for example energy. Now the relevant article is now searched, and I think the energy word is only in this article. And you can also see the highlight component working its magic by highlighting the text which was searched. Now let's search something else, something which should be common with every article, like the word with. So word with is common with every article, but because it is not part of any title, so that is why it is not getting highlighted. So let's try to search something else which should be common. I don't think there is anything else common in the titles, but still you get the idea, right? This search is really fast, and to leverage the full text search capabilities, we can either use Algolia's provided components, or we can use the hooks as well. So let me just give you a brief overview on all the different components that I have used in the React frontend. So this is the instant search, which should be the wrapper around all the widgets that we are going to use for our search interface. And this is the search box. So search box is a is an input where user can enter text for their query, and for search we just have to provide the different prop values to configure the search box. And for the hits component is used to display the individual search item, and each hit is going to represent an individual item, which I just showed you in the React code. And this is the highlight component. This is not very complicated. It's just used to highlight the text which has been searched if it has been found. And there you have it. That's everything about integrating Algolia's full text search in a React application by also using Firebase backend, we have built a functional search interface capable of handling real-time search queries, providing a smooth and efficient user experience. If you found this tutorial helpful, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Your support encourages me to create more content like this. I am Nitij and I will see you in the next one. Till then, happy coding.